Hi guys, welcome back to another exciting episode of the Y Space podcast for the youth and by the youth, with honest chats, fresh perspectives, and good vibes only. My name is Fiona Venga and I will be one of your co-hosts for today's episode, joined by
Mia, and with us today is two volunteers from the YMCA here to discuss with us what it's like being a young person working within youth development. Welcome to the Y Space. Okay, so tell the audience who you are.
Okay, hi guys, I'm Krista Kalu. I'm a fourth year honors social work student at Nelson Mandela University, and I'm currently doing my practicum at the YMCA NMB.
Hi guys, my name is Vinati Kleku and I am a substance abuse prevention facilitator at YMCA NMB.
Hey.
Yeah, so we got good people, we've got passionate, right?
Yeah.
Passionate young people within our local community. First things first, let's talk about youth spaces and I hope it's not a difficult question, but what do you guys think the role of community-based organizations and schools is in supporting young people? You guys are young.
Yeah, I think based on my perspective and the experience I have here in YMCA, the first one would be creating inclusivity, promoting leadership and creating safe space for the stakeholders that we are working with. To indulge more on that one, I think YMCA NMB creates these safe spaces by instantly welcoming the visitors, even though there is no mutual connection or there is no they don't really know each other on a deeper level. And I, as a substance abuse facilitator, I promote leadership and safety in the environment that I'm working in by encouraging learners to take over from the discussions that we usually would have on a regular or on a daily basis whenever we meet. I think that is my take on that.
I've been really how does those sessions impact the kids, you know? What are the reactions to learning about these things?
So their reaction and also their understanding and knowledge based on the sessions that we usually have quite similar, because after the session I would ask for their feedback on or basically during the session I would ask what do they understand about or regarding in particular what's this concept that I've provided or brought forward to them, and then I would listen to their comments. I would try and integrate them because they provide different responses and some are quite similar as I've mentioned.
For sitting here and it's Youth Day, I'd like to revisit this year's theme. It's Skills for the Changing World, Empowering Youth for Meaningful Economic Participation. Zvinat. Fresh out of high school, man.
Yeah.
Not varsity, not getting a job, no GOB, just volunteering.
Nothing.
What made you go that route, maybe?
It was not really my first choice. Of course, I did apply to universities, but due to financial issues, I had to, take a step back and reconsider my decisions because I really had no other options. And then I had to go back to my drawing board on what am I going to do, how am I going to, move on, because I did not get a chance to, actually go to school. And looking at the high unemployment rate, I'm not saying it's only the youth that is impacted by this, but even people who have, graduated, it's so hard for them to, get jobs. So the first idea or the option I had was to, volunteer just to gain a work experience, build a foundation for me, a solid foundation basically, so that whenever I pursue my studies, because I do want to pursue my studies, I want to be something at the end, so at least I have a foundation of what work it is, what is a 9 to 5 job it is, like what it is to keep time and, have employees around you. So I think that's
Hey, shout out to the YMCA for providing people with
that
opportunity. And talking about youth unemployment, we really face that issue in South Africa. A lot of graduates face that issue as well. You get your matric certificate and you think, oh wow, I can go get a job or I can go study, but with either, you still face, we do need more job opportunities out here. What do you think about that?
100%. Being in the university environment, obviously my experience is a lot different to his. A lot of my friends have graduated now in April, but because the economy is just so bad, they have the degree and they work so hard 3-4 years of their lives, working hard towards getting this degree, and then they come out into the real world and there's just no jobs for them, which is the sad part, because you really give so much of your time, so much of your effort, and it's just a really sad thing, and that's also one of the big contributors to unemployment.
On what Husna was saying, I think we need to go back and revisit some of the things that we are missing out. I'm gonna say this based on my experience, because I think me and some people have an experience in it, is poor career guidance from school. We're not really equipped on what is work experience. We're just told what is work, and we're not really guided. We're not given suggestions or ways on how we can maneuver and find ways, and for us to find our grounds or to get a solid foundation or a solid direction on what we want to do. And I'm not completely disregarding the fact that there are people who knows what they want to do in the near future, but there is a gap or there is a lack of information that is provided to certain individuals who are not really familiar or who are not sure. I'm one of those people. Yeah, even the money. I'm definitely one of those people who are uncertain on what to do, what career to pursue. So I think that also has a huge or significant impact in high youth unemployment.
I love that. I actually love that conversation, because in high school even I had no clue what subjects to take. I just looked, I was okay, this looks like I can bag this. But when I finished, when I actually got more matured and I looked back and I was like, wow, there's so much things I would have done better. And if only there was guidance within choosing those subjects. So I think there's so much things that can contribute to youth unemployment, and it can be lack of vision from young people and lack of guidance from older people. Aside from the economy not being as great, but I mean, if we were taught on how to become entrepreneurs for free in school, maybe some of us could have started businesses and thrived and been able to employ more people, because I think that's exactly what our country needs. People who
I think also, sorry to cut you off, but there was also this stereotype in high school that you should only take physics and pure maths and all the higher up subjects, which is just not true, because you end up taking those subjects because other people are telling you it's going to benefit you in the future, and then you just completely you don't thrive in it because it's not what you enjoy, it's not what you're able to, there's no passion in it for you, and it's completely different for everyone. So I think that's also one of the barriers to linking it to youth unemployment, because you did all of this and now your grades are low, and there's no motivation for you to do better and push yourself. So, and actually it's not really their fault at the end of the day. It's really not. You're listening to people who you think is wanting the best for you, and maybe they think that as well, but they're not thinking of you as a person and your well-being and what you need to thrive. So
and if you watch these podcasts on YouTube, the alpha males, they talk a lot about finance and how finance should be taught in school as well. People don't understand the importance of money, the importance of saving. There's so much that the youth aren't equipped for. We come into the real world and we get knocked.
Keeping that in mind, I do think that sometimes young people tend to take the passive role, and when I guess when you chose volunteering and you decide that you're not going to sit down and be. What do you think? How do you think youth-led initiatives and things like that contribute to help mitigate, let's say, those barriers? You are able to identify that there are bridges, but what would you do to help bridge that gap in the barriers that you were able to identify?
Honestly, I think working with the youth, you see a lot of the time that they just want to belong to something. So it's super important to, not provide that feeling, but have a space where they are welcome and they are able to feel like, okay, like I can be myself here, I can explore what I want to do in life, and just to create that environment, like I said in the beginning as well, like you see a lot of these kids and they just look lost and they just want to belong to something, and we can be that something for them to help, push them in whichever direction they feel is good for them. So yeah, it's very simple. I feel like it sounds like a very simple answer, but it is that simple, I feel like they just want to feel a belonging to the people in their community,
Sometimes things don't really need to be like overly complicated.
Especially when it comes to kids, like it doesn't have to be that complicated.
We just need to pay attention on those smaller details and not overlook everything. So I think just to add on what she's saying is providing creative spaces. I relate to that because I'm a theatrical person, and also creative. So I think looking into smaller details, what are the passion of these young individuals, what do they like, instead of but obviously things that would benefit them and also the economy in a different sense. So I think providing these creative spaces, I think
So talking about all this, I think this is why youth empowerment is so important. We face all these issues, and we can come together and put our minds together because we are in the situation. We're not just outsiders. We experience these things, and we want to prepare those before us. Like I saw this other organization, they kind of did a thing where they equip young people, teaching them a basic skill of how to create a good CV. And it's such a small thing, but it makes a huge difference in gaining an opportunity for a job, because how your CV looks, it matters. There's so many young South Africans who don't know how to make an appealing CV, or don't have that, some people charge 50 rand without doing CV. So organizations like this, non-profits, they play such a big role in empowering the youth. So especially the facilitations you do, especially the volunteering work that we do, communities who need the most support. So shout out to YMCA, shout out to all those other NPOs and stakeholders for creating that space and for putting in the work so young people can stand a better chance. So before we end this conversation, I have to ask you guys a question. Would your 12-year-old self be proud of who you are today?
I think looking back at the 12-year-old me and looking at me right now, there is a big difference, obviously. And I think I'll be definitely proud of the things or the decisions I've made for myself.
Okay.
At least
Decisions, guys, are very okay.
Yes, definitely. I think I've managed to push myself a lot, especially being like a very introverted person. I can notably say like I've grown a lot. Obviously from 12 years old you're going to grow a lot, but I mean...
You definitely, because you're on a podcast right now, introvert, so...
So it's definitely like a big change, not just like emotionally, but personality wise, like a completely different person. Like 12-year-old would not believe that this is me. So definitely.
For you?
No, I was supposed to be a scientist or something, but here we are, a doctor. I had high hopes, but it's okay.
I think my father, she would definitely be proud. She wanted to be an artist. I am an artist, so Thank you so much for joining us and joining this conversation, and we hope that you can relate and find some insightful advice. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.
Repeat the subscribe.